secretary had said that the situation in the area should be considered a national emergency. I was seeing videos of men from the council in canoes moving, trying to get people from their houses to get to the camps that has been provided for those people that have been displaced by the flood. But then you have to now consider the other implications of this situation. One of them would be the health part of it. We know that there have been talks about relief materials supplied to people in these camps, but there's even more questions to ask. Questions like, do we have enough coverage? Because there are some people that still say they've not been able to access camps, they've not been able to access relief materials. How is the council across the state going about this business? The committee that was set up by the state government that has the deputy governor as chairperson in charge of that committee, how far have they gone? What are they doing? A lot of people who do not know, the Commissioner for Environment is also part of that committee. I was trying to speak with him yesterday, I think from the movement, and he must have been really busy because he hardly doesn't take his calls. But yesterday was one of those days where he couldn't respond. So I'm sure something must have been up with work. And NEMA. There are those that have argued that if we have SEMA existing and working in the state, operational year in, year out, we might not need to set up committees. We might not need all of this. We just have SEMA who would be well equipped with a lot more manpower and provisions to ensure that they carry out this work. But as it stands now, I don't know how effective they are, but we know that in the past couple of years, SEMA has not been anything close to effective in Rivers State. If that has changed now, I'm yet to know. Maybe if you do, you let me know. Well, on the show today, I would be speaking with the Commissioner for Information, who is also a member of that flood committee that was set up by the state government just a couple of months ago. And we seek to figure out how far they've come, what they've been doing, how are they going about this business of alleviating the plight of the people and trying to mitigate the impact of the flood on all of these communities that I've mentioned before now. So he will join us on the show this morning. But in the meantime, for those of us who are on Facebook, this is what you can do. Simply get on Facebook at Nigeria Info. We're streaming there, by the way, so you can watch live and listen to us live as well. Let us get your messages. We would like to know what you think about how the state and local governments, for the local governments, the areas that are affected by the flood, how they are responding to those living in the areas, those that are affected. Are you satisfied with the level of work that is being done? What level of work is being done? If you live in a council where communities are affected by the flood, now would be a perfect time for you to give us some insight. And if you can, please add picture or videos to your contributions on WhatsApp 0809 030 6416. On WhatsApp again 0809 030 6416. Just send pictures or videos across to us and tell us what you think about the activities of the council and the state government in responding to the people who've been affected so far. On Facebook, you can also drop your questions and contributions. Hopefully, we'll get the response that they deserve as soon as we have the commissioner on with us. Hey, I got a message that is very close by. It was interrupted by traffic, but will be here shortly. So, Kari Alex on Facebook says, I have issues with these committees all the time. We don't also need SEMA. That will only work when the disaster has been handled. Femi, what is the cause of this flood that hasn't been there since the early 80s? Where was this water in 2023? Very great question, because I've also asked in 2011, 2008, 2009, we weren't really, experiencing floods at this level. I think the major one was first in 2012, and that one had to do with the dam situation that came. It was huge. I think, I'm not mistaken, 2012, right? If I'm correct. Was it? I hope I'm getting that correctly. Something tells me I'm not very Not accurate with it. Was it 2012 or 2022? Anyways, but we had that first flood. I remember vividly, and it was something else. I think it was 2022. 2022. Yes. 2022. We've had a flood before that time, but the point is it has not been as intensive and as frequent as we get it now. Some will argue about global warming contributing to what we're seeing, the rising water levels as a result of melting ice and the water levels of the Atlantic and the Pacific, name them, and that is in turn, water would find its way through distributaries and get into other channels, and this is what we're experiencing. There's that argument, and it would make sense. But the man-made flood, like the dam situation, I would agree that yes, the government should have done something. If we look at the agreement that was in there since 2008-6, there are certain agreements that came up, and what we should have done in our own part to ensure that we mitigate whatever will be coming out of the dam whenever it is opened. Have we done that? Have we even had conversations around what we are going to do about that? I understand that's very critical. I'm not in the government, I wouldn't know, but as far as the public is aware and the information made available to us, we haven't really heard much about setting up that dam. And so anytime the Lagdo Dam is opened, well, this is what we would experience. You can agree that what we have now is largely a man-made flood because we've not had the amount of rain that could cause the flood that we had last time. We've not had that much amount of rain that we usually would have around this period, so it's difficult to say that this is because of the rain. So it would only be one thing predominantly, and that would be the dam that was open. The rain might contribute, but I think that would be very little. Ogo Ojene Justice says, why is it that government can't do anything without committees? Does it mean that there are things that happen without being under any ministry, agency, department, and parastatals? It's annoying when committees have to be set up. As Ogo Ojene Justice. Well, we just got the Honorable Commissioner with us now. Sir, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Rivers people. Good morning, Andrew.
All right, I just wanted him to introduce himself so you hear his voice and know that he's here. But then we already have a commercial, a short commercial coming that we need to go take. As soon as we come back, we'll get into the details of this and figure out what the Flood Committee has been up to and what we should expect next. Remember your questions, videos, pictures if possible on WhatsApp 0809 030 6416. On Facebook, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH.
The show continues after this break on Night.
Morning Crossfire on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
8 is what the time is. Let's get into this conversation quickly. Honorable Commissioner for Information, Mr. Joe Johnson, is with me in the studio. He is also a member of the Rivers State Flood Committee set up by the state government, headed by the Deputy Governor of Rivers State. Quickly, sir, on the news, the reports we're getting, many say they're not satisfied with the response and what is happening, and some people don't even know. So I'd like you to first give us insight into what the committee has been doing and what is happening with mitigating the impact of the floods in and all the areas affected.
Yes. As soon as the committee made up of 9 members was put in place, we hit the ground running. We invited to the Orashi region, to Ahoda East. The 4 council chairmen of Ahoda West, Ahoda East, Obebe Mandoni, and Abu Odua. We invited them and invited their people, by which time they had already set up, by our communication, they had already set up their local flood committee.
Okay.
So we had a sensitization at the university campus in Ahoda, and then give them a lot of enlightenment, brought in people who are experts in meteorological arrangements. And when we concluded, we came back and decided that the first to happen would be to set up camps in preparation, because the NIMET had already given a tentative date when we should begin to expect the flood. So we came back, set up camps, looked for higher grounds, identified in collaboration with the local government chairman, and then we have set up camps. We were in Ahoda West last week. We took relief materials to them, and then tried to encourage them, and then give them some ideas as to what to do, particularly that we're working with the council chairman. Last 2 days ago, we were in Baby Mandoni, we were in Okus, we were in Ebema, we were also in Omok. Then we went to the traditional ruler, where we had to offload the consignments that we came with. And then we addressed the people. We went to the camps. We had pictorial views of the situation that was on ground. So when I heard it in the news this morning, I knew that the position that was canvassed is truly a reflection of what was on ground. So we're doing quite a lot to ensure that our people don't suffer. And in all the committees, there are medical officers that are members, and we're putting in more medical people, because if you see the situation, you'll agree that it requires a lot of medical attention because of the effects of what the flood is coming with quite a lot of rubbish, from the sea. We got across to the front of the Orashi, the Orashi River itself, and we could see the torrent, how heavy it was coming with a lot of water hyacinth.
Because I will open the phone line shortly. I would just want this to be much more of an interactive session between yourself and those who are in those communities that will call in and ask questions. But I just put this one out there first. In all this we're doing now to mitigate the impact of the flood, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
What's the recovery plan? As the committee began to look at the recovery plan after the flood leaves, people would need to go back to their houses. Some people, their properties might be destroyed, farmlands would be gone. A lot of other things that would have happened. Children who are supposed to be in school and their classrooms have been overtaken by flood. What's happening with these areas? Our
situation is not as worse as what we have in Bayelsa. Reason being that we have areas where some of the schools have moved to, so that the children don't suffer. In Bayelsa, as a matter of fact, they talk about flood holiday. But here our schools are still in session. We have had to move them to higher grounds where it will not affect the academic.
Across all the communities affected?
Yes, that's what we're doing. And then we also have pre and post plans. There are things we need to do, particularly in the area of health. The health people are all on ground, and they are trying to handle the situation as they come. And I want to believe strongly also that they will not lack food. They will have enough attention. We moved lorry loads of food items, and then to the areas that were mentioned in your news this morning. So I want to believe strongly that we're on top of the situation.
All right, let me just open the phone lines so that the listener can call in and ask questions. So if you reside in areas affected by the flood, what is the situation like? And what particularly do you think that the committee should consider doing, or the councils should also consider doing to aid the well-being of people who have been displaced? 0817-923-0007. I understand we don't have a lot of time, so we just have to manage with what we have left. 0817-923-0007. And yes, somebody was asking, 2012 there was a flood. In fact, in 2008, if I remember, I think there was also a flood in 2008, 2007. But I think I was in Delta State. I don't know if it happened it got to River State as well. I was in Delta State. Mm-hmm. I remember that situation. 2008, it was crazy. We had that flood, and then 2012 we also had it, and then 2022 that came again. Anyways, so just to clarify that, 0817-923-0007 or 0817-923-0003. Quickly with the questions, we have the Honorable Commissioner here. He's also a member of the Flood Committee. So let's put the questions through to him, and hopefully we get the response to them. Madam Dota from Gokana, good morning.
Thank you very much.
Go on, please.
Mr. Commissioner, sir.
Good morning, ma.
Yes, Madam Dota here.
Okay.
I want to find out from you this morning, especially around the areas like Aouda West, the Maharabin there. That place, I don't see so much difference between Bayelsa people and them. Like you are saying, it's not hitting us. It's hitting us around that axis. Mr. Commissioner, sir, what exactly is the committee doing concerning how the people can have day-to-day life to live? Because this thing have been on. They have been telling us that this thing will come. Finally, it's here with us. I would have expected that before now, provisions would have been made so that it's not now we are going to carry people. What exactly is the committee doing that will make the people there live better life like we that are over in Gokana here, because we are not that hardly it. I want to know, sir, and how soon they intend to do that. And I would suggest that one of the committee members live there so that you can have on the spot assessment of exactly what the people are going through. Thank you, and have a nice day.
All right. Well, there are two layers of the committee. There's a state committee, which is headed by the chairman, deputy governor. There is also the local government committee. So, and the chairman of the councils are directly supervising what's going on there. We interface with them. We're on the same platform, WhatsApp platform. They send pictures of events. They give an update of what is happening on a daily basis. We have what we call an emergency operational center, where people can have a help desk, so that if you have a challenge, you call this number and say, look, this is the challenge. But we had, before now, provided IDPs, provided mattresses, we have provided food stuff. Of course, it won't be enough. You cannot just carry entire, world, go and deposit at some point, but we've provided enough, and we are also monitoring the way it is managed.
All right. Amechi Inechie, good morning. All right, we lost the call from Amechi. Let's go to Robin, still in Echie. Robin, good morning.
Good morning, Femi Andrew.
Yep, good morning, Robin.
And greeting to the commissioner.
Good morning.
I want to state, as a son of River State, that I do not agree with the modus of Pram carried out by the committee set up by the River State government. If you listen to STD, something STD, the press secretary to Aouda West Local Government Chairman area, all what he said is an indictment to the committee at the state level. That was why, when the committee was set up, I queried, it was wrong for the government of River State to make deputy governor a committee chairman. Okay, the commissioner is saying that they have energy, they have water. Who is the spokesperson of that committee? Is it at the local level, at the state level?
Who is what?
Yes, sir, don't have badly. All that this issue is concerned. River State government should wake up to ensure that people of the Orange region are not complaining about food. We have enough to feed them before we ask about from Abuja anywhere else. God, the matter the farmer remain my name.
All right, Robin.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Yenegua, David is on the line from Yenegua. Good morning, David.
Yes, greetings from the city of Yenegua. My name is David West. As a matter of fact, for me, I do not see any significant reason of we setting up any extra committees if the River State Emergency Agency is fully functioning, or the Ministry of Environment is taking charge of its responsibility as a Ministry of Environment. What are we forming extra committees upon committees for? And again, in most cases, whenever the flood comes, we only do fire brigade approach, run around during the time of the flood. After the flood, we no longer talk about the victims. We no longer look at the welfare of the people. The moment the flood recedes, when they go back to their house, how do they fare? For those that have lost their farmland, how have they been taking care of the farmers and the fishermen? We do not even think about them again. The whole committee, everything ends there. Now, when you go back again, they do not even come back to give us a proper record of the amount of money spent. Monies are being donated here and there. So it worries me each time we have these flood situations.
All right.
And more so again, they talk about higher grants. It is only when the flood is there you hear of higher grants. After the flood, are we saying can't we prepare a permanent place to stay when we're already aware that we'll be having this kind of situation?
All right, David, thank
and whenever it comes, this is where people will go to, and not when the thing comes, they start to run rat race.
Sonny is on Elga. Thank you, David. We got your point already. We had to move on. We don't have a lot of time, so apologies.
Yes,
Sonny, quickly.
Good morning, Semiandro.
Yes.
And greetings to your guest, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm calling from Obagi community. Tony Benson is my name. In Onega.
Yes.
And concerning this flood issue, we have been facing a serious problem of flooding in Obagi community. And up till now, we have not seen any impact. We have not received any help from the government or from anybody. Even I lost my elder brother because of the flood. We just did the burial last week. So, I don't know. The commissioner said they sent some packages to the government, to the traditional rulers in Omok. But in Obagi community, we have not seen anything. We are not feeling the impact of government. And we are really suffering here because of the flood. All our houses are flooded, and even our farmland are being destroyed. So what is happening?
Are you affected, Sonny? Are you affected directly by the flood?
Yes, seriously.
So where are you? Is your house flooded, and where are you now?
Yes, we are staying in the school compound. In the school compound, back there.
Is that the site that was designated for displaced persons?
They did not give us anything because we cannot. That did not come to Obagi community assess the level of the damage and the flood, and we left our houses down to primary school, and even there, nothing has been done. Nothing.
All right,
I
Sonny.
even lost my elder brother last week.
Wow.
Yeah, because of the flood. Where they went to harvest casper from the farm.
All right, Sonny, sorry for your loss. Our condolence.
Sorry for the loss of your brother.
More calls coming in, but Honorable Commissioner, you want to respond to these?
Yes,
first?
I sympathize with the people of Obagi. As a matter of fact, we got into town about 10 p.m. on Tuesday. We started from Ebema, got to Ndoni, came to Omok. The Onega, as a matter of fact, is a very large LGA, but if they have not reached them, I've noted it. I'm going to get across to the chairman of council to be able to give us an update as to what can be done there. So be rest assured that we'll address it.
All right, Hector is in Ogbogoro. Let's hear him now. Good morning, Hector.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mine is just a question. Is that this flood thing has become a recurring decimal? Every year we keep having this flood issue, and we come up with temporary measures to cultivate moderate. Now, please, sir, what is there no permanent solution? What is the government from the state and the federal doing? There have been suggestions from some persons that there can be permanent solution to it. And if we can divert this flood, it can even give a positive result for us. What is the permanent solution?
All right. Thank you very much, Hector. Let's just add these two, then the commissioner would respond to all at once. Isaiah and Buguma, to you quickly.
Andrew,
yes.
Let me greet the information commissioner. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
You see, Andrew, I found out that we have not done something different as to have an entirely different thing concerning this flood. And doing one thing in the old way and expecting different results, I don't think that will work. I want to say that like people are asking for a permanent solution. You see, you can look for dredgers who will be dredging either the sand within that Orashi region so that the water will also, at least the impact will not get to the level that it is. 1, 2, I want to say that there should be an inclusive yearly budget that before even the flood will come to ravage the people, already a displaced camp has been set up. The people will first move to that place, settle down, and after the flood, then they can go to their origin, because naturally you can't leave your origin. So after the flood, you can return. Let us do it that way so that the people will not, the issue of flooding will not be blown out of proportion every year. People will be crying, will be out the tears, and how people are suffering and how water has submerged and all of that. I think there are ways that we can handle it. Thank you.
Temple in Echie, good morning.
Good morning, the very distinguished Andrew. My distinguished Honorable Commissioner, I salute you this morning.
Good morning.
Yes, the very distinguished Andrew, in as much as I'm concerned, I will continue to say it that the issue of this flood can never be overemphasized. In as much as where the commitment and the contribution of the state government in regard to the flood victims, in making them feel at home, in as much as whatever that is being given to them cannot make them to feel at home, but can help to an extent. And to my own Honorable Commissioner, sir, yes, looking at the contribution and what the people are being.
Temple, unfortunately, I think you got interrupted by a service provider there. Before the commissioner responds, one of the callers talked about what was said by the chief press secretary, the Auda Council chairman. Let's hear what he said. Perhaps it gives the commissioner the opportunity to respond accordingly. All right, this is the voice of Esedi Joe, the CPS Auda West Local Government.
It's very, very high. Normal canoes can't even go through because I use big boats to cross that area. The request from the state and the federal government comes to our aid in a haste. That's true. But to what we can do, we're ensuring that no life is lost. We're ensuring that, in fact, we had an incident in Ward 4 where a woman was to give birth and she was in the IDP camp, and so I had to send medical aid immediately to ensure she has a safe delivery and she has been evacuated to a very safe place, she and her baby. And so the situation is not coming down any soon as we see it. Water is still rising, and we're calling out for help. As much help as we can get, already becoming a national emergency.
All right. I think there he was referring to NEMA, which I would also bring up shortly, whether there's been any interface between the state government and NEMA in this. But you heard what he said, saying, well, the state government can do more to help them with the situation that they're facing, even though the government is doing what it can.
We are interfacing with NEMA. As a matter of fact, the man who heads NEMA here is a member of our committee, and he's been up and running. I'm aware that there are arrangements to bring in some consignments, today from the news, from what we gathered. But the situation in Ahoda West, like I said, we were in Ahoda West last week, and we prepared the place. I'm happy that the CPS has also acknowledged that the water is rising, and they are doing so much. It also tells you that they are not just idling away. We have medical officers on ground that are given support, and I said we have an EOC, emergency operational centers, where you could call in to say these are the challenges you have. So the state is to me is up and running with it. Those who criticize the deputy governor for being the chairman do not know the impact, the weight of this committee. For the governor to put his deputy to chair a committee tells you how important it is to the state. So I want to believe strongly that her presence is an added advantage to the committee, because and she is also from that region. This incident that we're experiencing now impacts more in the Orashi zone. That axis is where it is challenged because it's coastal flood. The ones you have around the Port Harcourt axis are flood. Flash flood. That comes from the rain and then desilting the drains are the options that are left to us. But this one is coming according to the volume of water. You could see what happened in Maiduguri the other time, and quite a number of the coastal regions, the Kogi area, and where all the confluence, where you have the River Niger crisscrossing, you find that the challenges are much. If you go to Anambra, you find the Niger Bridge. That area is where you have the one coming from River Benue. So you have all the challenges within the coastal regions, and I want to believe that it is natural. Nobody is going to be able to measure the volume of what will come. But NIMET has told us what will come, and I'm believing that the government that has put us together also will be expecting us to make recommendations. There are options to it. One is that you either build dams that will be able to collect water. For us in the south, there's no single dam, not one dam. And we are in the deltaic region where you have water, coming in volumes from the Lago Dam.
The fact that we need energy, power,
that's advantage. Yeah. If we have a dam, we can generate power from it. We can also have agricultural plants that can also give us enough food. So I want to believe that by the time we finish and we take the recommendations to the governor, he's one man that is prepared to put a lasting solution to the challenges that we may have.
All right, some of the messages coming in. Let the government do something tangible as regards to the flood. Urging the federal government to dredge the River Niger and Benue, build dams that can absorb water.
Those are options.
Whenever it's released, state government should also dredge the Orashi River. This idea of using flood to get committee members' appointments, I don't buy it. Orashi River is not on the exclusive list of the federal government. Thank God Ability says, good morning. Distributing food items and other materials for flood victims is a good one. After the flood, what next? Flood victims are complaining of their buildings. Many buildings will collapse, and my question is, can the state government help and rebuild those buildings that would collapse? I think we started the conversation with that before we opened the phone lines. What is the plan for post-flood? Is that something that the committee is already putting in place, so we do not have a haphazard approach?
The committee envisaged from the beginning that there will be post-flood activity, and the volume of what would be what will drive the process. It is not possible. I don't have the clairvoyancy to know what the end would look like, but let me assume that the first that we're going to do is the area of medicals, and when we provide that, try to save lives. The other option would be left to what will be coming out of the flooding. So until the flood recedes, until we're done with this challenge that we're on with now, it will be difficult for me to estimate or say what will be the outcome thereafter. But I want to believe that we can handle the situation.
All right. Godwin Agwan says, for me, I'm not satisfied so far at all with the committee. Rather, they only give them food. And if they're children, can't they provide a lasting solution to this menace? I think one interesting thing, something that was mentioned by the CPS, was the pregnant woman. I was going to also ask about pregnant women who would be in camp, because some of them would need antenatal and other attention. Do we have a sick bay in those camps?
We provided all that. We had the foresight. We knew this is not the first time he's coming, so all those arrangements were on ground. At least we heard him say they took her to somewhere. She had safe delivery and she's stable. It tells you that we're also ahead of time.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, thank you very much. But we have to wrap it up. A commercial is on the way. We'll continue to keep in touch, and we hope that the government continues to do the that can to address this problem and get more people out of flood-affected areas to at least the camps where they can have something close to decent standard of living until the water recedes.
We're doing just that. We're doing that.
Thank you very much. Once again. My name is Femi Andrew. Hello, Port Harcourt will come immediately after the news at 9. For now, a short break. Jude already is in the studio. So, yeah, stick around for it. It's a Thursday, and Jude gets awesome when it's Thursday. Yes, so just stay around.
Stay with us. Nigeria Info.